Hello guys, welcome to episode 8 of Country Icebergs. Today we will be going over the Japan iceberg. We're going to be going over Japanese history, culture, people, etc. Anyway, let's dive in. Ninjas. Ninjas were covert agents in feudal Japan known for espionage, sabotage, and assassination. Unlike the honorable samurai, they operated in secrecy and used stealth tactics rather than open combat. They mastered skills like disguise, infiltration, and unarmed combat, often serving warlords or working as spies. Anime. Anime is a style of animation that originated in Japan and features colorful artwork, vibrant characters, and imaginative storytelling. It covers a wide range of genres, from action and romance to horror and science fiction. Unlike most Western cartoons, anime often targets all age groups and explores complex themes and emotions. Technology. Examples of Japanese technology include the Shinkansen bullet trains, which can travel over 300 kilometers per hour with remarkable safety and punctuality. Companies like Sony, Panasonic, and Toshiba revolutionized electronics with products such as the Walkman, flat-screen TVs, and advanced cameras. Robotics innovations like Honda's Asimo and SoftBank's Pepper show Japan's leadership in AI and automation. Cars. Japan is home to some of the world's most famous car manufacturers, including Toyota, Honda, Nissan, Mazda, and Subaru. The country is known for producing reliable, fuel-efficient, and technologically advanced vehicles. Japanese automakers pioneered hybrid technology with models like the Toyota Prius and continue to innovate with electric and hydrogen-powered cars. My personal favorite Japanese car is the 1999 Mitsubishi Eclipse. Karate. Karate is a traditional Japanese martial art that focuses on striking techniques such as punches, kicks, and open-hand attacks. It originated in Okinawa, influenced by Chinese martial arts and local fighting styles. Practitioners, called karateka, train in forms, sparring, and self-discipline. Beyond combat, karate emphasizes respect, focus, and the development of both body and mind. Tokyo. Tokyo is the capital city of Japan and one of the largest, most vibrant cities in the world. It blends modern skyscrapers, neon-lit streets, and cutting-edge technology with historic temples and traditional culture. The city is a global center for business, fashion, and entertainment, attracting millions of tourists each year. The Emperor. The Emperor of Japan is the country's ceremonial head of state and a symbol of national unity. The imperial family is the oldest hereditary monarchy in the world, tracing its lineage back over 2,600 years. While the emperor once held political power, today his role is purely symbolic under Japan's constitution. Emperor Naruhito, who ascended the throne in 2019, represents the Reiwa era. Shinto. Shinto is Japan's indigenous religion, centered on the worship of kami, which are spirits found in nature, objects, and ancestors. It emphasizes rituals, festivals, and purity, rather than strict doctrines or sacred texts. Shinto shrines, often marked by iconic torii gates, are places where people pray, make offerings, and celebrate seasonal events. The bombings. The bombing refers to the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the United States during World War II in August 1945. Hiroshima was bombed on August 6th, killing tens of thousands instantly, while Nagasaki was bombed on August 9th, causing similar devastation. These attacks led to Japan's surrender on August 15th, 1945, effectively ending World War II. Kabuki. Kabuki is a traditional form of Japanese theater known for its stylized drama, elaborate costumes, and dramatic makeup. It originated in the early 17th century and combines singing, dancing, and acting to tell stories of history, love, and moral conflicts. Performances often feature exaggerated movements and gestures to convey emotions and character. Isolationism. Isolationism in Japan refers to the period from the early 17th century to the mid-19th century, known as the Sakoku era, when the country limited foreign contact. During this time, Japan restricted trade to only a few select ports and banned most foreign influence, including Christianity. The policy was intended to maintain political stability, protect Japanese culture, and control external threats. Isolation ended in 1853, when Commodore Matthew Perry of the United States forced Japan to open its ports to international trade. Shinzo Abe assassination. On July 8, 2022, former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was assassinated while delivering a campaign speech in Nara, Japan. The assailant, Tetsuya Yamagami, approached Abe from behind and fired 2 shots using a homemade firearm. The first shot missed, but the second struck Abe in the neck and chest, leading to fatal injuries. Despite efforts to save him, Abe was pronounced dead later that day. Meiji. The Meiji era in Japan marked a period of rapid modernization and transformation from a feudal society to a centralized, industrialized nation. Under Emperor Meiji, Japan adopted Western technology, education, military systems, and political structures while maintaining its cultural identity. The era saw the rise of railways, factories, modern banking, and a strong national army, propelling Japan onto the global stage. Koto. The koto is a traditional Japanese stringed musical instrument, similar to a zither, usually with 13 strings that are plucked with finger picks. It has a long, rectangular body and produces a soft, melodic sound, often used in classical Japanese music. The koto is played both solo and in ensembles, sometimes accompanying vocals or other instruments. Ainu. The Ainu are an indigenous people of Japan, primarily from Hokkaido, with their own distinct language, culture, and traditions. They traditionally lived as hunter-gatherers and fishers, with spiritual beliefs deeply connected to nature and ancestral spirits. Ainu culture includes unique clothing, crafts, music, and rituals, such as the Iyomante bear ceremony. Suicide forest. Aokigahara is a dense woodland located at the base of Mount Fuji in Japan. It has gained a somber reputation because of the high number of you-know-the-point that have occurred there over the years. The forest's thick trees and quiet atmosphere make it eerily isolated, contributing to its tragic association. In response, Japanese authorities have placed signs urging visitors to seek help and reminding them of the value of life. The sarin gas attacks. The sarin gas attacks in Japan refer primarily to the 1995 Tokyo subway attack carried out by the cult Aum Shinrikyo. On March 20th, 1995, members released sarin, a deadly nerve agent, on multiple subway trains during rush hour. The attack killed 13 people, injured over 5,000, and caused widespread panic throughout Tokyo. Karoshi. Karoshi is a Japanese term meaning death by overwork, describing sudden fatalities caused by extreme work stress, long hours, or related health issues. It typically results from heart attacks, strokes, or severe mental health problems linked to chronic workplace pressure. The phenomenon emerged in Japan during the post-World War II economic boom, when long working hours became culturally normalized. Bushido. Bushido, the traditional code of conduct followed by the samurai in feudal Japan. Bushido translates to the way of the warrior and encompasses a set of ethical principles emphasizing values such as loyalty, honor, courage, and discipline.
Half
Is a Japanese term used to describe a person who is of mixed Japanese and non-Japanese ancestry, typically with one Japanese parent and one parent from another country. Hafu individuals often have distinct physical features and may experience both interest and curiosity as well as social challenges in Japanese society. The term can carry neutral, positive, or sometimes sensitive connotations depending on context and attitude. Political parties. Japan's political system features multiple parties, though it has been dominated by the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, for most of the post-World War II era. The LDP is a conservative party that supports economic growth, strong US-Japan relations, and gradual social reforms. Other notable parties include the Constitutional Democratic Party, a center-left party advocating for civil rights and social welfare, and the Komeito Party, which often partners with the LDP and has roots in a Buddhist organization. Kintsugi. Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery by mending the cracks with lacquer mixed with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. Rather than hiding the damage, kintsugi highlights it, turning imperfections into a beautiful part of the object's history. The practice embodies the philosophy of embracing flaws and impermanence, connected to the broader aesthetic of wabi-sabi. Dejima was an artificial fan-shaped island in Nagasaki Bay, Japan, constructed in 1636 during the Edo period. It served as the sole point of contact between Japan and the Western world during the country's period of isolation, which lasted from the early 17th century until the mid-19th century. Initially, Portuguese traders were housed there, but after their expulsion in 1639, the Dutch East India Company established a trading post on Dejima in 1641, maintaining a monopoly on foreign trade with Japan. Yukio Mishima. Yukio Mishima was a famous Japanese author, playwright, and nationalist known for his literary brilliance and controversial life. He wrote novels, essays, and plays exploring themes of beauty, death, sexuality, and the tension between traditional Japanese values and modernity, with works like Confessions of a Mask and The Temple of the Golden Pavilion. Mishima also founded the Tatenokai, a private militia dedicated to preserving Japan's traditional culture and emperor-centered values. Tomino's Hell. Tomino's Hell is a Japanese poem by Saijo Yaso that gained notoriety as a cursed poem or urban legend. According to the legend, anyone who reads it aloud is said to suffer misfortune or even death, though there is no verified evidence supporting these claims. The poem itself is abstract and ominous, evoking images of despair, torment, and a journey through suffering. Hashima Island. Hashima Island is a small, abandoned island off the coast of Nagasaki, Japan, famous for its once thriving coal mining community. From the late 1800s to the 1970s, the island housed thousands of workers in tightly packed concrete buildings, creating one of the densest populations on Earth. After the coal mines closed in 1974, the island was abandoned, leaving behind a haunting landscape of decaying structures. Unit 731. Unit 731 was a covert biological and chemical warfare research unit of the Imperial Japanese Army during World War II, based in Harbin, China. It conducted inhumane experiments on humans, including vivisections, frostbite testing, and the deliberate infection of prisoners with deadly diseases like plague and anthrax. Thousands of civilians and prisoners of war, primarily Chinese, Korean, and Russian, suffered and died as a result of these experiments. Jomon. The Jomon period is an ancient era of Japanese prehistory, named after the cord-marked patterns found on its pottery. People of this period were primarily hunter-gatherers, relying on fishing, hunting, and foraging, though some communities practiced early forms of agriculture. Jomon society is known for its distinctive pottery, stone tools, and ritual objects, including clay figurines called dogu. Taisho era. The Taisho era in Japan lasted from 1912 to 1926, during the reign of Emperor Taisho. It was marked by a shift toward political liberalization known as the Taisho democracy, with increased influence of parliamentary government and political parties. The era also saw modernization in industry, culture, and education, as well as growing urbanization and Western influence. Tomioka Tessai. Tomioka Tessai was a prominent Japanese painter and calligrapher, renowned for his contributions to the Nanga and Nihonga art movements. Born in Kyoto into a merchant family, he initially pursued studies in Chinese philosophy and literature due to his hearing impairment. Hiroo Onoda. Hiroo Onoda was a Japanese soldier and intelligence officer who became famous for holding out on a Philippine island for nearly 30 years after World War II ended. Stationed on Lubang Island in 1944, he was ordered to conduct guerrilla warfare and never surrender until officially relieved. Onoda remained in hiding, believing the war was ongoing until 1974, when his former commanding officer personally traveled to formally dismiss him. Wabi-sabi. Wabi-sabi is a Japanese aesthetic and philosophical concept that finds beauty in imperfection, impermanence, and simplicity. It values natural materials, asymmetry, and the passage of time, celebrating the uniqueness of weathered or worn objects. Wabi-sabi is often reflected in art, architecture, pottery, and everyday life, emphasizing quietness, humility, and subtle elegance. Russo-Japanese War. The Russo-Japanese War was a conflict between the Russian Empire and the Empire of Japan over territorial disputes in East Asia, particularly Korea and Manchuria. Japan launched a surprise attack on the Russian fleet at Port Arthur, marking the first major victory of an Asian power over a European power in modern times. The war included significant battles on land and sea, such as the Battle of Tsushima, where Japan decisively defeated the Russian Navy. Nanking Massacre. The Nanking Massacre, also called the Rape of Nanking, occurred in 1937 to 1938 during the Second Sino-Japanese War. Boshin War. The Boshin War was a civil war in Japan between forces loyal to the ruling Tokugawa shogunate and those seeking to restore power to the emperor. Sparked by growing dissatisfaction with the shogunate's handling of foreign influence and modernization, it marked the end of Japan's feudal era. The imperial forces, advocating for modernization and national unity, ultimately defeated the shogunate's troops. Emperor Jimmu. Emperor Jimmu is regarded in Japanese mythology as the first emperor of Japan and the legendary founder of the imperial line. According to the Kojiki and Nihon Shoki, he was a descendant of the sun goddess Amaterasu and established his rule around 660 BCE. His capital was said to be in Yamato, marking the beginning of Japan's imperial dynasty. Ainu Revolution Theory. The Ainu Revolution theory is a political concept that emerged in Japan in the early 1970s, particularly in radical left-wing/New Left circles. It posits that the indigenous Ainu people of Hokkaido could serve as a kind of vanguard or base for revolutionary politics, because proponents viewed them as living in or descended from a primitive communist social condition, untainted by capitalist structures. Thinkers such as Ryu Ota were especially associated with this idea. Ota wrote Ainu Revolution Retreat to the Yukala World in 1973. Meiji-Ottoman relations. During the Meiji era, Japan and the Ottoman Empire established diplomatic relations as part of Japan's effort to engage with other non-Western powers. The two empires shared a mutual interest in modernization and resisting Western dominance. A key event was the 1890 visit of the Ottoman frigate Ertugrul to Japan, which ended tragically when the ship sank off the coast of Wakayama, deepening mutual sympathy. The Andaman Islands theory. And now for the bottom of the iceberg. The Andaman Islands theory often refers to ideas about the origins and isolation of the indigenous peoples of the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean. Anthropologists suggest that the Andamanese are among the earliest human populations to migrate out of Africa, maintaining genetic and cultural isolation for tens of thousands of years. And that was the end of the Japan iceberg. Thanks for watching, and bye.